Seoul has ranked 8th out of 137 cities in the latest Global Financial Centers Index, which evaluates cities across 5 key areas, including human capital, business environment, and reputation.
서울이 국제금융센터 지수 GFCI 최근 보고서에서 전 세계 137개 도시 중 8위에 올랐습니다. GFCI는 세계 주요 도시의 금융 경제력을 비교 평가하는 지수로 기업 환경, 인적 자원, 도시 평판 등을 포함한 핵심 5개의 영역을 평가에 산출합니다.
Yes.
Tell us more.
Yeah, so this index is really a leading benchmark that evaluates the competitiveness of major financial hubs across the world.
Sure.
And it evaluates 5 key areas. We mentioned human capital, business environment, reputation, but also financial sector development and infrastructure as well. So Seoul ranked 8th, as the headline suggested, behind cities like New York and London, which retained the top 2 positions, followed by Hong Kong, Singapore, and San Francisco. So in Asian cities, I guess you could say Seoul ranks 4th because Seoul ranked ahead of Tokyo. So you could say Seoul was ahead and 3rd in Asia. Specifically with Seoul, the city improved in areas of infrastructure, climbing 9 places, and strengthened the investment promotion systems in the city and expanded support for the fintech industry.
Right. We also went up, I believe, 2 notches from the year prior. So it's a sort of an improvement in our own ranking as well.
Absolutely.
그래요. 이제 5가지 영역을 비교하고 평가하게 됩니다. 앞서 이제 헤드라인에서는 3가지 정도가 언급이 됐는데 5가지는 인적 자원, 기업 환경, 금융 산업 발전, 인프라, 그리고 도시 평판이 되겠습니다. 전년도 10위에서 우리가 이제 8위로 올랐기 때문에 우리 자체 순위도 오르기도 했지만 또 이제 아시아 내에서도 순위가 나쁘지 않습니다. 자, 그러면 한번 표현을 볼까요? Key areas.
Yeah, so this index or this survey looks at key areas which are the most important parts or aspects of this of cities in this case, right?
핵심적인 무언가, key. You can even say this is key, meaning 이게 제일 중요한 거야.
Yes. So teachers, when they teach, will say this chapter is key for the test. So it's the most important.
Exactly. 그렇다면은 key areas는 굉장히 중요한 영역이니까 핵심 영역이 되겠네요.
Yep. It's an aspect or a field. Right?
Yeah, definitely. You can say a person is key. You are key in delivering the news on Monday mornings.
Oh, only on Mondays. Yes.
Well, you do.
Well, because that's when I'm only
because
here,
that's
right?
the day
Yeah.
you're here.
Okay.
다음에 reputation 볼까요?
Yeah, so a reputation, again, could be a person or a thing, and it's the general opinion or the belief about someone or something based on sort of their past actions or their behaviors or their performance, right?
평판이나 명성을 얘기합니다. And again, you can use this for people and for things as well, or
Yeah.
a country. You can talk about a company's reputation too.
Right. So I could say, Sue, you have a great reputation amongst, our friends or our
Thank
colleagues
you. I
here,
can say
right?
the same about you as
So,
well.
so we're patting ourselves on the back. Or you could say a company has a good reputation as well, right?
Yep, definitely. 그래요. 자, 그럼 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. Seoul has ranked 8th out of 137 cities in the latest Global Financial Centers Index, which evaluates cities across 5 key areas, including human capital, business environment, and reputation. Let's move on to the next headline.
A survey shows that about 13% of Koreans do not exercise at all, up from 8% the previous year, while most respondents say they manage their health by maintaining personal hygiene and a clean environment.
한국건강증진개발원이 작년에 실시한 설문조사 결과 우리나라 성인 중 운동을 전혀 하지 않는다고 대답한 비율은 약 13%로 전년도 8%에서 증가한 수치를 보였습니다. 한편 종합적인 건강관리 실천을 묻는 항목에서는 청결한 개인위생 및 환경 유지를 꼽은 응답자가 가장 많았습니다.
Yeah, so despite what you see on TV and in the media, it seems like everyone is working out and everyone is healthy except myself. But what this survey shows, after asking 2,000 men and women over the age of 19 last year, 12.7% to be exact, said they do not work out at all, not even a single bit. And that's up quite significantly, actually, compared to 8.1% last year. And the previous year, it was 8.0%. So it was pretty steady, but something
Yeah.
happened over the past year, right?
I wonder what it was.
Yeah, and if you look at the percentage or proportion of adults who work out less than once a month, so a little bit slightly, that edged up as well. So more and more people are not actually going into physical exercise routines.
Yeah.
And that's interesting.
I like how you said edged up.
Yeah.
You can just say go up or it climbed up, but all these different verbs we use to talk about the movement of data or stats. Here, if you say edge up, it's going up ever so slightly.
Yes, you get that sense that it's increasing incrementally,
Yeah.
sort of by small amounts. And that's true here because the number of adults who work out less than once a month climbed from 8.1%, 8.4, and then last year 8.7. So
Yeah.
minuscule sort of increases.
Got it. Okay, let's have a look at the expression to not exercise at all.
Yes. So when you use this sort of phrase at all in a negative or a question, it means not even a little. So zero, basically.
전혀.
전혀.
How else could you use this in a sentence?
You can use it sort of in a polite way, in a conditional,
Yeah.
sort of. So, are you worried at all about the results? You
I'm
can
not
ask.
worried at all.
Right. So, in that case,
Yeah, exactly. Would this be a problem for you to do? No, it's not a problem at all.
not at all.
Oh, not at all. Oh, no, we say not at all.
We
quite
say
a
that
lot.
often, right?
We
Yeah.
do. That's right. 전혀 at all. Now, what about the other expression, which is a long one? Maintaining personal hygiene.
Right. So when you maintain something, you're keeping something at a certain state. And personal hygiene is a phrase we use to talk about keeping your body or your physical appearance clean.
Yeah.
You're taking care of your basic sort of cleanliness habits, things like bathing, showering, washing hands, brushing teeth.
Exactly. Maintaining something, 유지하는 것. Personal hygiene, 개인 위생을 유지하는 걸 얘기하죠. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. A survey shows that about 13% of Koreans do not exercise at all, up from 8% the previous year, while most respondents say they manage their health by maintaining personal hygiene and a clean environment.
The United Nations has announced the creation of a task force dedicated to developing technical and diplomatic mechanisms for maintaining the flow of humanitarian goods and fertilizers through the Strait of Hormuz amid ongoing disruptions.
중동 분쟁이 격화하면서 호르무즈 해협이 사실상 봉쇄되자 여기서 발생하는 인도주의적 문제에 대응하기 위해 유엔이 태스크포스를 구성했다고 밝혔습니다. 이 태스크포스의 주요 목표는 호르무즈 해협에서 인도주의 물품 수송 및 비료 무역의 흐름을 원활하게 해줄 기술적, 외교적 메커니즘을 개발하는 것입니다.
Yes. So obviously, the conflict in the Middle East right now seems like there's no end in sight at the moment.
It's been over a month now.
Yeah, and it's wreaking havoc all across the world. We obviously know the effects on oil and energy and gas shipments, but it's not just that. We're talking about humanitarian goods that need to pass through here, but also fertilizer, which is a very important product. About 30% of the world's fertilizer, passes through this strait. So this task force, which consists of many organizations, including the International Maritime Organization and the UN Trade and Development Group, its primary objective is to create a neutral, monitored corridor to allow the safe passage of these shipments. And Iran has sort of jumped on this as well, tweeting just after the announcement that Iran has decided to facilitate and further expedite the safe passage of humanitarian shipments through the Strait of Hormuz. So let's hope that at least this alleviates sort of any worries for insurers that
Yeah.
need to ship goods through this strait and de-escalate regional tensions, hopefully.
이렇게 호르무즈 해협의 봉쇄로 인해서 정말 많은 물품들과 심지어는 식량과 생필품도 이게 제대로 운송되지 못하고 있기 때문에 많은 사람들에게 큰 그 생활의 불편함 또 더 나아가서 위기까지도 초래하고 있는데요. 자, 표현을 좀 보도록 하겠습니다. This is because of the ongoing disruptions. Let's look at that first.
Sure. So if something's ongoing, that means it's continuous. It's continuing. It's repeated without interruption. And a disruption would be something like a disturbance or an interruption or a problem, right?
ongoing 한 단어고요. 지속적인, 계속되고 있는. disruption은 혼란, 원래 이제 방해 이런 의미가 있을 수 있는데요. 지속적인 지금 이제 혼란 상황, 분쟁 상황을 얘기하고 있죠.
Right.
Now, because of that, the UN has decided to create a task force. And what is this task force dedicated to doing? Well, it's dedicated to developing all these different mechanisms to help the flow of goods and fertilizer, as you said.
Right, because the purpose of a task force usually has one purpose, right? Or it could be multiple purposes, but it's committed or it's devoted to some sort of activity or a purpose or a person, in fact, sometimes as well. I know in Korean, oftentimes people just say TF.
Yeah,
but
in English we don't, right?
we don't
No.
because it's the same number of syllables, so there's no need to
그러네요.
there's no need to abbreviate task force. But
네, 그거는 이제 콩글리시이기는 한데요. 우리는 타스크포스 줄여서 TF라고 얘기 많이 하지만 영어에서는 사실 TF라고 하지 않습니다.
No.
지금 지적해 주신 그 이유 때문인 것 같아요. 타스크포스나 TF나 영어에서는 똑같은 이음절이에요. 굳이 다른 단어로 바꿀 필요가 없습니다. 자, 그런데 이제 타스크포스가 어떤 목표를 가지고 있느냐, 무엇에 이제 전념하게 되느냐라는 표현을 it's dedicated to doing something 이렇게 표현을 하고 있는 거죠.
Right. Oftentimes in a book, an author will dedicate the book to someone, who influenced them. Right?
이 책을 누구누구에게 바칩니다라고 할 때 I dedicate this book to blah blah blah. 다시 읽어볼게요. The United Nations has announced the creation of a task force dedicated to developing technical and diplomatic mechanisms for maintaining the flow of humanitarian goods and fertilizers through the Strait of Hormuz amid ongoing disruptions. Here's our next headline.
Indonesia has introduced a social media ban for children under the age of 16, the first of its kind in Southeast Asia, following Australia's lead in protecting young people from potential online harms.
인도네시아가 잠재적 온라인 피해로부터 청소년을 보호하기 위해 16세 미만 미성년자의 주요 소셜미디어 사용을 금지했습니다. 이는 세계 최초로 이 같은 조치를 취한 호주에 이은 두 번째 사례며 동남아시아 국가 중에는 처음입니다.
Yeah, so if you remember back in December, Australia was the first country in the world to restrict social media access. And since then, 4.7 million accounts belonging to children have been revoked in Australia. But now, for the first time in Southeast Asia, children will be blocked from having accounts on platforms like YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, X, all of them. And that applies to about 70 million children, or accounts at least, in Indonesia, obviously with a large population there. Yeah. And, enforcement and account deactivation are going to happen sort of gradually. But eventually the government plans to levy fines on platforms that don't comply and has not ruled out a complete nationwide ban.
인도네시아 인구가 2억 8천만 명 정도나 되는군요.
I believe it's probably top 5 population in the
굉장히
world.
많은데
Yeah.
그중에 한 25%에 해당이 되는 16세 미만의 청소년, 미성년자, 그러니까 한 7천만 명의 아이들의 소셜미디어 어카운트가 이제 금지되는 겁니다. 더 이상 사용할 수가 없게 되고요. 조금 전에 열거해 주신 대로 유튜브, 틱톡, 페이스북, 인스타그램, Threads, X, 비고 라이브, 로블록스 다 해당됩니다. 자, 그런데요. 이제 3월 28일부터였으니까 지금 며칠 안 됐어요. 이제 세계 두 번째로 이렇게 법적 효력을 발생하게 된 그런 케이스입니다.
Yeah, and it's not or maybe it's a coincidence, but just last week as well, in the U.S., companies like Meta and YouTube were fined because and they were ordered to pay millions of dollars because it turns out that these companies were designing programs and products that were addictive, and they knew this, and it causes harm to young people. So I think we're now just learning sort of the harmful effects of social media because, especially for children, it can be very toxic.
Yeah. Other countries around the world are taking action, similar actions to enforce this.
Yes.
But the two countries that have actually gone ahead with it are Australia and now Indonesia. Let's have a look at the expressions. The first of its kind.
Yes, so we're talking about how Indonesia would be the first in Southeast Asia
Yep.
to implement such a law, meaning that they would be the very first example of something or something that hasn't been done before, never been made before, something that's unprecedented.
Yeah, the first of its kind. 여기서 kind는 종류라는 뜻이 있습니다. First of its kind는 이런 종류로는 최초다. 그래서 동남아시아에서 이런 소셜 미디어 ban을 시행한 국가로는 최초다. What about the potential online harms of social media?
Sure. So if something's potentially, right, it means there's a possibility of something. And an online harm would be sort of risks or negative effects that people might face on the internet
Yeah.
when they're sort of on their devices.
It's used in the plural here because there's more than one.
Yes, that's a good point because harms as a noun here isn't usually pluralized like this, but there could be multiple harms. So
Yeah.
in this case, it works.
Potential 잠재적인 online harms. 온라인상에서의 문제나 피해를 얘기하죠.
Yeah, and in terms of what sort of harms, we could be things like cyberbullying that children can
Yeah.
face, scams, misinformation, and also privacy breaches as well.
그렇죠. 여러 가지 피해를 아이들이 입을 수 있는데 그것을 방지하고 그냥 아예 처음부터 막기 위해서 이런 조치를 취한 겁니다. 자, 다시 읽어볼게요. Indonesia has introduced a social media ban for children under the age of 16, the first of its kind in Southeast Asia, following Australia's lead in protecting young people from potential online harms. Okay, now let's move on to the final headline.
Major U.S. airlines are reported to have steadily reduced the number of economy class seats and expanded premium seating in a strategy aimed at boosting profitability by increasing the proportion of higher priced seats.
미국 주요 항공사들이 최근 몇 년 동안 이코노미 좌석은 꾸준히 줄이는 반면 퍼스트 클래스 등의 프리미엄 좌석 공급은 확대해 온 것으로 전해졌습니다. 이는 고가의 좌석 비율을 늘려서 수익성을 높이려는 전략으로 분석됩니다.
Yes. So, I don't know. The U.S. domestic sort of airline industry is going through a lot of problems right now. Most, at present, there's a partial government shutdown, if you know, and that's affecting a lot of sort of the activities at U.S. airports with lines up to 4 or 5 hours long, which is quite incredible. But airlines are also doing sort of scheming in this way in terms of introducing these sort of quasi-premium products, right? So they're not business class seats, but they're not economy, so they're sort of economy premium. And you can see this when these companies, these airlines are buying new aircrafts. So for example, United Airlines, the proportion of economy seats previously was around 58%, but they've reduced that to about 40% to try and get people to maybe upgrade if possible. And at the same time, airlines are also reinforcing strategies to segment their seating by adding these premium economy seats between economy and business class.
And this isn't just the big airliners, but we're talking about, the low-cost carriers as well. They have different names for these quasi-premium seats. Some airliners might call them economy plus or premium economy or, the name doesn't really matter. The main point is that they have these slightly upgraded seats, which are more expensive, but not as expensive as, first class or business. So I guess as a passenger, you may be tempted to buy the slightly upgraded seat.
Yeah, everything is priced now in the U.S. In terms of domestic flights. I was quite surprised the last time I took a U.S. domestic flight where you had to pay if you wanted to choose your seat, first of all. If you wanted to add
really?
any baggage, any check-in baggage is a cost. And of course, any
Drinks.
food or drinks, that's definitely not
That's the same
provided.
for some airliners here in
Yeah.
Korea as well. 항공사들 우리 이제 carrier라고 하기도 하는데요. 우리도 이제 LCC 저가 항공사에서 이렇게 하고 있는 데가 몇 군데 있습니다. 그러니까 이코노미석 그다음에 이제 우리가 전통적으로 생각할 때는 그 다음에 뭐 비즈니스석 이런 식으로 뭐 퍼스트 클래스는 더 위에 있고 그런데 이제 그 사이사이에 조금 다른 티어들을 만든 거죠. 그래서 이코노미보다는 조금 더 좋은 프리미엄석들을 만들다 보니 돈 조금 더 보태서 그러면 내가 좀 편안하게 갈까 하는 마음이 고객의 입장에선 생길 수도 있고 항공사 측에서도 사실은 이제 수익성을 바라고 하는 것인데 저가 항공은 지금 얘기해 주신 대로 추가적으로 내야 되는 비용이 상당히 많죠.
Yes.
All right. Let's talk about some of the expressions in this story. Steadily.
Yeah, so what these airlines are doing is they're changing these sort of pricing schemes, not all of a sudden, but they're doing it sort of gradually, consistently in a controlled way without these sudden changes. And that's what steadily is, right?
Steadily is an adverb. So it comes with an adjective or a verb. 자, 무언가를 꾸준히 할 때 do it steadily라는 부사를 쓸 수 있습니다.
Right. So the company's profits have grown steadily. for example.
회사의 수익이 조금씩 꾸준히 오르고 있습니다. 그런가 하면은 이제 steady라는 형용사도 우리가 많이 듣게 되는데요. 가장 대표적으로는 slow and steady wins the race.
Yes. Tortoise and the hare.
그렇죠. 그때는 steady, not steadily. 왜냐하면 형용사로 쓰기 때문이죠. What about premium?
Yeah, so premium, the primary sort of definition is anything that's high quality, right?
Yeah.
Anything that's superior, or if you want to add features or upgraded features. But there's also the meaning, ironically, of an extra cost or a fee, especially when you talk about insurance premiums, right?
그렇죠. 추가적인 그런 뭐 보험료
Yes.
이런 것들을 프리미엄이라고 부르기도 하는데요. 여기서는 고급의 의미로 보시면 됩니다. 다시 읽어볼게요. Major US airlines are reported to have steadily reduced the number of economy class seats and expanded premium seating in a strategy aimed at boosting profitability by increasing the proportion of higher priced seats. All right, well, that's it for the headlines this morning with Shane Harm.
A survey by the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism finds that roughly 7 in 10 people worldwide enjoy Korean content, with K-pop emerging as the top association with Korea.
문화체육관광부가 해외 30개 지역을 대상으로 실시한 한류 실태조사 결과 응답자 10명 가운데 7명가량이 한국 문화 콘텐츠에 대해 호감을 보였으며 한국을 떠올리게 하는 대표 이미지로는 K-팝이 1위로 꼽혔습니다.
Oh, this is always interesting to me. It's the 2026 Korean Culture Study. We get one of these pretty much every year where we get to find out who's interested in Korea.
Yes.
And so it's across 30 regions across the world. 27,400 people took part in this survey. And, when it came to their own countries, it was maybe film, maybe music, maybe beauty, maybe drama. Those were what were the most popular there. But when they thought about Korea, food was number 2.
Okay.
And K-pop was number 1.
That's not surprising.
No, though. I have to say I'd put food number 1.
Would you? Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
I'm an old man. I'm not big into BTS and others.
But there are tons of fans of not just BTS, but loads of K-pop bands.
Yes, but K-pop is spread all over the world, and it's interesting to see that is the representative
Yes.
part of Korean culture.
What else are people interested in?
When it comes to TV, Squid Game is still number 1.
Yes.
When it comes to movies, Parasite is still number 1. They've lasted a while, I have to say.
Yeah.
And yes, BTS is number 1 when it comes to K-pop.
Okay.
What's interesting is the survey's changing a little bit. This year was the first time they looked at, I don't know whether to call it diaspora content or not, but certainly content made outside of Korea.
About Korea.
Yes, so
something to
K-pop,
do with Korea,
K-pop
yeah.
Demon Hunters,
Yeah.
a Canadian production, but very much a Korean movie.
아, 그래요. 이제 한국과 관련된 콘텐츠까지도 같이 보게 됐었군요. Okay, let's have a look at the expression to emerge.
If something emerges, it comes out. It appears. It's not surprising. It's not quick necessarily. I like to think of, I think of the creature from the Black Lagoon, the monster emerging from the fog or the lake, very slowly appearing, coming towards us.
그래요. 그래서 안 보이는 뭐 물속이나 암흑
네.
속에서 갑자기 무언가가 딱 모습을 드러내는 것이 emerging입니다. 이렇게 떠오르는 것, 부각이 되는 것, 모습을 드러내는 것. 이게 emerge인데요. 여기서는 어떻게 쓰냐면은 K-pop has emerged as the top association with Korea. 그래서 K-pop이 이렇게 모습을 드러냈다.
Yeah.
K-pop? 네, 영국식 발음이랑 이제 다 섞이네요. K-pop가 이제 한국 하면은 떠오르는 이미지 1위로 부상했다. 이렇게 볼 수도 있겠고요. 자, association with Korea 보겠습니다.
Yeah, if we talk about an association with something else, it means there's a link, there's a connection, there's something that is either similar or makes us think of the other thing, or reminds us of the other, or actually fits in with the other in some way.
그래요. 관련이 있다는 얘기죠. 그래서 무엇과의 연관성, 뭐가 연상이 된다든지 아니면 진짜 그냥 관련이라고 할 때 association. 그래서 이제 동사로 썼을 때는 it's associated with something.
Yes.
이렇게 얘기를 하겠죠.
I mean, there's a fun word, a fun game associated with association, word association. Have you ever played that?
Yeah, I think I have, yeah.
Yeah, this is really fun if you're an English learner as well.
Okay.
When one
How
person
do you
says
play
a
it?
word
Yeah.
and the other person says the first word that comes into their mind.
Okay. Can
So
you-
if I say tiger,
cat,
mouse.
cat.
Well, Sue, you failed that one.
All I think about is cats.
Shouldn't that be me?
What's going on here today? I don't
In
know.
any way, it's a fun game as a native speaker, but also as a learner of the language. Because it makes your brain work to think of the links.
연상되는 단어를 하는 거. 이거 굉장히 재밌는 러닝 게임 될 것
네.
같아요. 저처럼 계속 같은 단어 말하지 마시고요.
Just don't say cat or every time.
Musicals, cats. Books, cat. anyway. 자, 다시 한번 제가 헤드라인을 읽어보겠습니다. A survey by the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism finds that roughly 7 in 10 people worldwide enjoy Korean content, with K-pop emerging as the top association with Korea. 자, 그럼 두 번째 헤드라인입니다.
The city of Seoul has launched the first early morning bus route in the country to operate with full autonomy across its entire journey, including typically restricted areas like school zones.
서울시가 전국 최초로 전 구간 자율주행하는 노선버스를 새벽 시간대에 배치해 운영을 시작했습니다. 이 버스는 종전과 달리 어린이 보호구역 등 일반적인 통제 구간에서도 수동 운전 없이 자율주행을 하게 됩니다. Okay, so we're talking about a fully autonomous route,
Yes.
and this runs from 구파발 to Yangjae.
Yes, pretty much all the way from top to bottom when it comes to
Yep.
Seoul. It's 23.5 kilometers. There's one round trip per day,
Yep.
and it leaves at 3:30 in the morning. So
Yes.
you've got to be up fairly early to get this bus.
그래서 지금 이제 3월 30일 새벽부터 운행 시작했어요.
네.
근데 숫자가 3월 30일 새벽 3시 30분
Yes.
요때 이제 첫 운행이 시작이 됐는데 기존에 이제 741번 버스가 있습니다. 구파발에서 양재를 가는 오가는. 근데 요 구간인데 원래 741번 버스는 64개의 버스스토프에서 멈추게 되지만
네.
A가 붙은 이 자율주행, autonomous A 741번 버스 같은 경우에는 이제 같은 노선이지만 몇 개의 정류장은 스킵해요. 그래서 34개의 정류장을 이제 에서 멈추게 되죠. 근데 새벽 3시, 4시 요 시간대니까 많은 사람들이 이용하진 않겠지만 그래도 혹시 내가 요 시간대에 이 구간을 이용하는 사람이다. 그러면은 지금 당분간 무료 이용이고요. 한번 사용해 보시면 어떨까 싶습니다.
Yes, though it should be said it's not like a normal bus. You can't stand up on it. You have
No.
to sit down.
Yes, for safety reasons.
Yes, so
Yep.
there's only a room for 20 people, and that's including the driver. Because for safety's sake, there is
okay.
a driver on
I
board,
see.
just in case anything might happen.
That's good.
And you do need to tap your transportation card. It may be
That's
free,
important.
but you have to log in and log out, as it were.
맞아요. 그래서 무료 운행 중이긴 하지만 교통카드를 그래도 기존처럼 태그하셔야 됩니다. 그래야지 이제 인식이 돼요. 요금은 부과가 되지 않더라도 이렇게 태그하셔서 이용하시면 되겠습니다. 네, 매일 일단 당분간 1회 운영 새벽 3시 30분부터 되니까요. 참고하시면 되겠습니다.
Yeah, let us know if you've been on it. Let us
Cool.
know if you'd like to
maybe.
ride this bus in the future.
Yeah, it's only been a day or two. A day, actually. So,
Yeah.
or two? So, so it was from 3:30 on the morning of the 30th, which
Yeah,
was yesterday.
So there's
So
been
it's
two chances to
days.
ride down to
Okay.
Yangjae.
그래요. 혹시 타보신 분 계시면은 알려주세요. 자, 표현 보겠습니다. Full autonomy.
This is interesting because I don't normally use the word autonomy, and I don't see the word autonomy. I usually see autonomous.
Yes.
When describing some kind of machine, some kind of robot that doesn't need you and doesn't need anybody else to operate. So if something has autonomy or full autonomy,
Yep.
that means it's independent. It's self-controlling or self-governing. So it doesn't need to ask anybody, or it doesn't need help from anybody, and it doesn't need somebody with a remote control or a button to press.
그래요. autonomy라는 것은 이 자율성을 얘기하는데 여기서 말하는 건 자율주행 버스라는 걸 얘기하는 거고 그것도 완전 자율주행이니까 full autonomy. 문장 속에서는 어떻게 썼냐면 This bus will operate with full autonomy.
Yes.
이렇게 표현하고 있습니다.
Sometimes people can also operate with full autonomy.
They can.
If your boss gives you autonomy, you do what you need to do to
Yes,
get this
yes.
job done.
We are not given full autonomy on this show.
Certainly not me.
But we're given, fair bit.
Yes, a certain amount of
A
autonomy.
lot of what we do is sort of ad-libbed. We're not reading from a script right now.
But Sue, some things are restricted.
Yes, that is true. What is restricted?
Well, if something's restricted, then it's limited in some way, or it's not allowed, or it's forbidden even. So in this case, we're talking about a restricted area, which is an area where you are not allowed. In this case, it was for autonomous vehicles. They were not allowed near schools, for example. So that would be a restricted area, a place where these autonomous vehicles are not allowed to go.
So if you see the sign restricted on a door,
Yeah.
that would mean 출입 제한. But in this case, we're looking at areas that are restricted. 그러면은 이제 제한 구역인데
네.
this would be about speed. For example, school zones.
Yes.
Normally with autonomous vehicles, they're not allowed to go through these zones, but this A741 bus is allowed to do that.
So it's a big leap for autonomous vehicles.
그래요. 제한구역, restricted area. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. The city of Seoul has launched the first early morning bus route in the country to operate with full autonomy across its entire journey, including typically restricted areas like school zones.
The Egyptian government has implemented a nationwide 9 p.m. closing time for shops, malls, restaurants, and cafes to combat a severe energy crisis triggered by the ongoing regional conflict involving Iran.
이집트 정부는 미국, 이스라엘과 이란 간 전쟁으로 유가가 폭등하자 이에 대응하기 위해 자국 내 모든 상점과 식당, 카페 등의 폐점 시간을 앞당겨 밤 9시부터 문을 닫도록 지시했습니다. Tell us more.
The first thing is to say that Egypt's not involved in this. It's
Okay.
not one of the parties who's attacking anything at all, but it is very close to the area.
Geographically.
And it is susceptible to supply shocks.
Yes.
And the thing that, we all need, oil and natural gas. And it's been really affected by what's been going on and by the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. And so the Egyptian government have put in these measures. So dimming streetlights, for example, dimming roadside advertising, getting people to work 1 day a week at home. That's going to start from next month, from tomorrow. And so basically saying that anybody who can do less or use less electricity should. That's not going to apply to things like hospitals, schools, and factories. So you wouldn't work from home if you're a factory worker or a hospital worker.
Right.
The one area where it's not going to be affected is when it comes to tourism and hotels, because that's a lot of Egypt's economy, and I think they want to make sure that tourists still come in even while they're dealing with these supply issues.
Right. The way we read the time and say the time in English is time and then AM or PM
Yes.
after the time.
Yes.
It is often used the opposite way in Korea, which is Konglish. But in English, we never say PM9 or AM9.
No, not
It's
at all.
always 9 p.m. or 9 a.m. So
Or, yes, or 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock.
Yes.
Or there are lots of different ways to say the time, but not if you
Exactly.
put the AM, PM first.
Exactly. So if you are going to use AM or PM, it doesn't really matter if you capitalize it or use small letters. That's not the point. But what is important is that you say AM or PM after the number.
Yes. You can also use it without the number.
Yes, yes.
So when you're
9
saying
in the morning.
yes,
9 at night.
No, without the number, meaning we say
Oh,
AM
oh.
or PM.
Oh, sorry.
I've got a meeting in the AM.
Oh,
You'll
I
hear people
see.
say or type as a message.
Yeah, exactly. To mean in the morning
Exactly.
or in the evening.
And there you don't need the number, you can use it just by itself. That's often for text rather than speech. But it is used sometimes.
문자할 때는 나 오전에 뭐뭐 해, 오후에 뭐뭐 해 할 때 I'm doing something in the AM, in the PM. 문자로는 이렇게 한다는 거죠. 문자 언어와 우리 이제 회화 또 이제 문서로 공식적인 것을 작성할 때는 다 다르긴 합니다.
Yeah, for example, PM's on EBS in the AM.
What?
PM's on EBS in the AM.
Okay.
What's my name?
Paul Matthews.
Yes.
이렇게 혼란을 주지 마시고요.
죄송합니다.
PM이 폴 매튜스이기도 하군요. 그 PM까지 갈 줄은 몰랐는데 자, combat를 볼게요. Normally when I hear the word combat, I think of soldiers fighting. But here it says cafes and restaurants
Yes.
have to combat an energy crisis.
Yeah, but the thing is, for me, when I think of combat, I don't immediately go to soldiers.
Okay,
I go
okay.
to solving a problem. I go to tackling an issue.
I see.
We had to combat the COVID virus back in 2020 for a couple of years.
Yes.
Whatever it is we're facing, it's something that we have to deal with, that we have to beat, or we have to tackle, or we have to endure, because it's fighting in some ways.
Yes.
So we can use the word fight as well. We fight against this or fight against that.
네, 무언가를 막기 위해서 싸우다, 대응하다, to combat. 자, 그러면 triggered by는요?
Well, if something is triggered by something else, it's set off by it. It's started by it. You think of a trigger on a gun or a trigger on some kind of machine. When you click that or press that, something starts. It causes a reaction.
네, 무엇에 의해서 촉발이 된다. To be triggered by something. Okay, let me read this again. The Egyptian government has implemented a nationwide 9 p.m. closing time for shops, malls, restaurants, and cafes to combat a severe energy crisis triggered by the ongoing regional conflict involving Iran. Okay, let's move on to the next headline.
Groundbreaking research reveals that the enduring bond between dogs and humans dates back more than 15,000 years, with evidence that hunter-gatherers fed the animals and gave them ritual burials long before the emergence of agriculture.
인간과 개의 유대관계가 지속된 기간이 15,000년보다 더 오래됐다는 획기적인 연구 결과가 발표됐습니다. 이는 고대 수렵 채집인들이 농경사회로 이행하기 훨씬 전부터 개에게 먹이를 주고 개를 인간과 함께 매장했다는 증거에 따른 것입니다. So, dogs are, I guess, a man's best friend or have been for a very long time.
Yes, and we move from Egypt to Turkey. Because that's where the oldest specimen buried alongside their master is. 15,800 years old. It was found in Anatolia, Turkey. There was another one found 14,300 years ago in the UK. But yes, we're finding more and more evidence that this history between humans and dogs has gone on for a very, very long time. And when we look at these burial rituals, there is evidence that there was a strong bond, a strong connection. For example, there was one burial site where the bones of the puppies were buried on top of the bones of the humans to suggest that sort of close bond or that tight relationship. So this is something we've known for a long time, that dogs and humans get on very well, but we didn't know that it dated back so far.
Yeah. I mean, dogs, I believe, were trained to live with humans right from the start. So we, as you said, we've known that. It's just that we don't know exactly how long that's been.
Yes.
But now it looks like it's been way over 15,000 years.
And before it was 12,000, they thought.
Oh, wow.
So we've gained an extra 3,000 years with dogs.
Oh, wow. 자, 그럼 표현을 좀 보도록 하겠습니다. To endure something, an enduring something.
Yeah, and enduring something is something that lasts a long time, or that lasts through difficult times, or troubles, or obstacles. Yes, and it's the same if we endure something, we survive it, we live through it. So it's a sense of length of time, but also surviving through hardships.
자, endure가 동사가 되겠고요. enduring은 형용사인데요. 이 원래 의미는 어려움을 함께 견뎌낸다라는 뜻이 들어있어요. 그래서 an enduring relationship 그러면은 오래 지속되어 온 관계가 되겠죠. 여러 가지 어려움이 있었을 수도 있는데 그런 것들을 다 이겨낸 겁니다. 자, 그래서 동사로 썼을 때는 we have endured something. 무언가를 우리가 이겨냈어. 이렇게 말할 수 있습니다. 그것을 이제 오랫동안 이제 견뎌냈고 그래서 많은 시간이 지났다라는 것도 암시가 되는 거예요. 그래서 시간의 개념, 그 다음에는 기본적으로 어려움을 극복해내면서도 시간이 계속되어 왔다는 개념이라고 보시면 되겠는데 해석할 때 여기서는 이제 an enduring bond 그러면 오래 지속되어 온 관계 그러면 되겠죠. What's a ritual or in this case ritual burials?
Yes, when we're using it as an adjective, so it's a ritual something, or we talk about it as a noun, a ritual is going to be some kind of activity, some kind of, in this case, it could be burial or ceremony or whatever it is that is done for spirituality or for religion or for folk culture purposes. Whatever it is, it's something that's done in this way, in this fashion, because of the culture or because of the religion.
그래요. 자, 그래서 여기서 말하는 ritual이라는 형용사는 어떤 의례적인 늘 해온이라는 뜻이고 명사일 때는 그런 의식 절차를 얘기하겠죠. 자, 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Groundbreaking research reveals that the enduring bond between dogs and humans dates back more than 15,000 years, with evidence that hunter-gatherers fed the animals and gave them ritual burials long before the emergence of agriculture. Now let's move on to the final headline.
More than 12 tons of chocolate bars were stolen in Italy while in transit to distributors in what's being called a major candy heist just ahead of the Easter holiday that could lead to consumer shortages.
이탈리아에서 12톤이 넘는 초콜릿바를 실은 트럭이 유럽 내 각 유통지점 배달 중에 도난당하는 사건이 발생했습니다. 부활절 휴일을 앞두고 벌어진 이번 희대의 초콜릿바 강도 사건으로 시중 물량 부족 상황도 우려되고 있습니다. So Easter is this upcoming Sunday, the 5th of April. It's always on a Sunday, for our listeners who don't know. So the date changes every year. But in the West, people normally have Easter eggs, and these could come in the form of chocolate Easter eggs. It's very popular.
Yeah, eggs and bunnies are often chocolatized. Yes, and so we have a problem is that over 400,000 units of this chocolate, and it's a new chocolate range by one company, got stolen. Nobody got hurt, but the thieves took the chocolate and disappeared.
Yeah.
Don't know where they are, don't know what they're doing, but it was going from Italy to Poland. But I'm sorry, Poland, it looks like you may be short of chocolate this year.
그래요. So it was on its way to, or you could say it was in transit to Poland.
Yes, if something is in transit to something else, or someone's in transit, it means they're going from one place to another. If you're at the airport and you've ever had to stop over at one airport and then keep on flying, you may have spent time in the transit lounge, which is where people go when they're in transit.
그렇죠. In transit to 어디라고 하면은 어디로 가는 중에 있다라는 뜻입니다. 그럼 조금 전에 이제 사람 같은 경우는 경유의 의미로 볼 수 있겠고요. 우리 공항에서 transit area라고 하면은 이제 경유할 때 잠시 머무르는 곳이 될 텐데 그런 게 아니라 여기서는 이제 초콜릿입니다. 그래서 초콜릿이 운송 중이었다. And it was on its way to, it was in transit to Poland니까 폴란드로 운송 중에 도난당한 거고요. And this all happened just ahead of Easter.
Yes, just before, a little time before. So when we use just ahead of, we're usually talking about time, but it could be in terms of distance if we're talking about a race and one person is just ahead of someone else.
Right.
But normally it's saying, Sue, can you sign in just ahead of the conference? We just want to make sure that your name is down and we know you're here.
그래요. sign in이라는 것은 이제 뭐 출석 체크 아니면은 뭐 출근 체크 이런 거를 얘기하는 거긴 한데 just ahead of니까 뭐뭐 하기 직전에가 되겠죠.
A few minutes, a few hours.
그래요. Just ahead of the show, we had a chit chat.
We did.
Don't remember what we talked about, but we did.
We didn't talk about chocolate.
Oh.
I think you kept
Was
on
it
saying the word
donuts?
cat again and again and again.
It's very likely. 자, just ahead of는 뭐뭐 하기 직전에 무엇을 바로 앞두고 그래서 이제 이스터 부활절을 앞두고 지금 유럽에서 이런 일이 있었다라는 얘기입니다. Alright, well, let me read this again. More than 12 tons of chocolate bars were stolen in Italy while in transit to distributors in what's been called a major candy heist, just ahead of the Easter holiday that could lead to consumer shortages. Alright, well, let's leave that story there.
Both domestic and overseas travel recovered to pre-pandemic levels in 2025, with 70% of those aged 13 and older taking at least one domestic trip last year, and the proportion of outbound travelers hitting an all-time high.
This is our first headline. 지난해 우리나라 13세 이상 인구 중 70%가 최소 한 번 이상 국내 여행을 했고 해외여행을 다녀온 사람 비율도 역대 최고 수준을 기록하는 등 국내 및 해외여행이 모두 팬데믹 이전 수준을 회복한 것으로 나타났습니다. Alright, let's talk about these figures. It was announced by the data ministry or the stats ministry. Tell us more.
Yeah. So this is according to recent data, and it sounds like travel has rebounded to pre-pandemic levels last year. And this is according to government figures. They say that 70.2% of people aged 13 and older took at least one domestic trip in 2025, and that's recovering from a pandemic low in 2021 and surpassing pre-COVID levels. Overseas travel also surged with 31.5% traveling abroad. That's up sharply from 2 years earlier and exceeding the previous 2019 high. They say that both domestic and international travel had plunged in 2021 amid the COVID-19 pandemic, but it's slowly coming around and fully recovered to the levels before the pandemic occurred. But I don't know, maybe the current situation might put a damper on those figures for
it's getting more
2026,
expensive.
right? So this data, it comes from an annual report tracking social indicators across the nation.
그래요. 자, 국가데이터처가 발표한 2025 한국의 사회 지표 내용 중 일부입니다. 사실 굉장히 다양한 것들이 이 보고서 내용을 통해서 밝혀졌는데 그중에서 우리는 이제 여행 보고 있어요. So the Ministry of Data and Statistics released this yesterday, and as you said, it shows that more people traveled last year than even, before the few years before that, I should say. And so we have gone back to pre-pandemic levels.
Right.
그래요. 지난 몇 년 동안의 그 여행 했던 것보다 작년에 더 많이 했다는 얘기. 그래서 팬데믹 이전 수준을 회복했다라고 했는데 이 표현 좀 볼까요?
Yeah.
Pre.
Pre, right. So when you add this prefix to a lot of different words, it's added to a lot, but it means before, prior to, in advance, or in front of, and it's attached to the beginning of root words to indicate that an action, state, or position happens earlier or in preparation for something else. So in terms of time, you might have heard of preheat, that means to heat something before, or prepay, that means to pay something in advance, or prehistoric, that means before recorded history.
그래요. Preview도
Yes.
있죠. 그거는 이제 다른 사람들에게 공개되기 전에 이게 몇몇 소수의 사람들에게 뭐 영화라든 것, 뭐 이런 것들이 이제 상영이 될 때 preview라고 하잖아요. 아니면은 책이 공식적으로 발매되기 전에 우리가 이제 일부분만 좀 보게 되는데, 그래서 이 pre라는 접두어가 먼저, 앞서서, 사전에 이런 의미가 있는데 접두어라는 단어 자체에도 pre가 들어가요.
Yes.
접두어는 prefix입니다. 그렇다면은 전미어는 suffix라고 하죠. 그렇죠? 이거는 뭐 영어 문법 들어가는 거고 몰라도 되긴 하지만 pre is a prefix.
That's right. But the opposite, or what comes after, you would add the prefix post.
아, 그렇죠. 의미상 이제 사전에 이전에가 아니라 이후에라는 의미를 담은 접두어는 post입니다.
Yes.
So post is also a prefix, but it means after.
Yeah.
But we talk about this a lot with COVID. So I think a lot of people are familiar with it.
Yeah.
Pre-pandemic, post-pandemic.
Post-COVID, yeah.
post-COVID. 참 우리가 COVID, 이 팬데믹 덕분에 익숙해진 단어들이 상당히 많아요. 그 중에 하나가 이런 pre하고 post가 되겠죠?
Yep.
Okay, so travel is back to pre-pandemic levels in Korea. What about outbound travelers?
Outbound travelers. So this usually refers to people who are traveling outside the country. So it refers to residents of a country who are traveling to or staying in a foreign country for leisure. So for travel, it could be for business or other purposes. And it refers to people who are staying in that country for less than usually a year. So
Okay.
yeah. So for anywhere from like days to less than 12 months.
Outbound. 밖으로 나가는? 여기서는 이제 traveler랑 같이 붙었으니까요. 출국을 하는 여행객이라고 보시면 되겠습니다. 반면에 입국을 하는 여행객도 있잖아요. 그러면은 inbound
Yes,
traveler라고
inbound
하겠죠?
travelers, yeah.
그다음에 우리가 exports and imports, 수출과 수입 얘기할 때도 이 outbound와 inbound를
Yeah.
많이 쓰는데 outbound shipments, inbound shipments 이렇게 얘기를 하죠. 꼭 선박을 이용하지 않아도 그냥 그렇게 표현을 합니다. 수출과 수입. So outbound travelers, 출국하는 여행객. Well, here's the headline one more time. Both domestic and overseas travel recovered to pre-pandemic levels in 2025, with 70% of those aged 13 and older taking at least one domestic trip last year, and the proportion of outbound travelers hitting an all-time high. Let's move on to the next headline.
The International Monetary Fund has warned that all roads lead to higher prices and slower growth for countries on all continents should the conflict in the Middle East continue to constrain the flow of oil, gas, and fertilizer from the Gulf.
국제통화기금 IMF는 미국, 이스라엘과 이란 간의 전쟁이 장기화해서 걸프 지역의 석유와 가스, 비료 이동이 계속해 지장을 받을 경우 그 여파로 모든 대륙 국가들에서 물가가 오르고 경제 성장이 둔화되는 상황이 초래될 것이라고 경고했습니다. Tell us more.
Yeah, so the IMF is warning that a prolonged Middle East conflict could push up global prices and slow economic growth by disrupting supplies of oil, gas, and fertilizer. So this was in an analysis that was led by the IMF's chief economist, who said that rising energy and food costs would constrain households and businesses worldwide. And this warning comes amid escalating tensions, including threats by U.S. President Donald Trump against Iran's energy infrastructure, raising concerns over prolonged supply disruptions. While some energy exporters may benefit, most countries are expected to face higher inflation, potentially prompting interest rate hikes. And the IMF added that extended disruptions could lift global food prices by up to 20% in early 2026, with Europe particularly vulnerable due to its reliance on imported energy.
네, 유럽이 특히 취약하군요. 바로 이렇게 어떻게 보면은 직결이 되어 있어서 그렇다라고 볼 수 있을 텐데, 자 여기 가정법 하나 나와 있습니다.
Yes.
도치인데요. Should something happen?
Yeah.
Should 여기서 뭐라고 했냐면 the conflict continue. 자,
Yeah.
이게 무슨 뜻이죠? Should something.
Right. Should something happen. So this is used when you're referring to a possible event in the future. So it's kind of like if something happens.
그렇죠. 근데 if랑은 뉘앙스 차이를 굳이 말하자면은 아주 미세하게 달라요.
Yeah.
이게 should가 좀 더 공식적인 느낌이 있죠.
Yeah,
뭐
a little
if를-
more formal.
맞아요. if를 쓴다고 해서 틀리진 않죠. 뭐 if the conflict continues 해도 되는데
Yeah.
it just sounds more like I said formal.
Yeah.
Yeah. 그래요. 뭐 그다음에
If and if sounds a little more certain to me.
아하.
Like if when you say
Yeah.
if it feels like it's really going to happen, but should is kind of like it's a little more uncertain.
아, 그래요. Should you have any questions or any comments regarding the show or my Korean pronunciation, please let me know.
Yeah.
Because I do make mistakes and I'm only human. 자, 그런 식으로 should blah blah blah. 이게 아주 공식적으로 뭐뭐 한다면 이런 뜻이에요. 자, 그다음에는 이제 constrain 한번 보겠습니다.
Yep, constrain. So constrain, constrict, very similar. It means to restrict restrict, limit, or force someone or something to behave in a certain way or to limit something.
그래요. constrain이라는 거는 제약하다, 제한하다라는 뜻이 있어서요. If the conflict continues to constrain the flow of goods. 그래서 여러 가지의 흐름을 계속해서 막는다면은 뭐 그냥 방해 요소가 된다면은 이렇게 볼 수 있겠죠. 자, 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. The International Monetary Fund has warned that all roads lead to higher prices and slower growth for countries on all continents should the conflict in the Middle East continue to constrain the flow of oil, gas, and fertilizer from the Gulf.
NASA has kicked off its countdown for what is slated to be its first crewed moon mission in more than half a century, with the initial launch window from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida opening on Wednesday at 6:24 p.m. local time.
미국 항공우주국 나사가 반세기 만에 다시 가동하는 유인 달 탐사 우주선 아르테미스 2호가 발사를 앞두고 카운트다운에 들어갔습니다. 발사는 플로리다주 케네디 우주센터에서 현지 시간으로 수요일 오후 6시 24분에 이루어질 예정입니다. Okay, so the 50-hour countdown kicked off
Yes.
sort of yesterday.
Yep.
Tell us more.
Yeah. It's the final countdown for its first crewed mission to the moon.
Yes.
In more than 50 years, and the launch target is for April 1st local time from the Kennedy Space Center. The mission, it's known as Artemis 2. It's going to send 4 astronauts on a loop around the moon, marking a major step towards future lunar exploration. The crew, it's gaining a lot of attention because it's the first to include a woman,
Yeah.
a person of color, and a non-American on a lunar voyage. And NASA officials said the rocket and systems are ready,
Yeah.
although weather conditions will be closely monitored ahead of liftoff. The flight will also mark the first crewed use of the Space Launch System designed to support future missions, including plans to build a long-term human presence on the moon. So do you really think that we are going to, or future generations will go live on the moon?
Yeah, it's possible, I guess. 자, 이 50시간 카운트다운이 미국 동부 시간으로 3월 30일 오후 4시 44분에 시작이 됐어요. 우리 시간으로는 어제 31일 오전 5시 44분부터 50시간 카운트다운이 시작이 된 겁니다. 그러면은 발사는 언제냐? 현지 시간으로 4월 1일 오후 6시 24분인데요. 우리 시간으로는 4월 2일 내일 아침 오전 7시 24분입니다. 근데 이제 그때 딱 발사를 한다기보다는 window라는 단어가 나와 있는데요. 그때부터 이제 발사를 할 수 있는 거죠. 그래서
They
뭐
have to check a lot of
시간이
things, yeah.
약간 뭐 조금 지연이 될 수는 있어요. 그거는
course.
이제 그때 뭐 상황 보면서 하는 거지만 what is a launch window or a window when we're talking
window.
about time?
Yeah. So a window, when we're talking about time, as you mentioned, it's a time frame.
Yeah.
So it's usually we use this expression, for example, launch windows. So it's a specific calculated time frame. It ranges from minutes to days during which a rocket or a spacecraft must lift off to successfully reach its intended target.
그래서 여기 the initial launch window 초기 발사 일정이라고 할까요? This will open on Wednesday at 6:24 p.m.이라고 했어요.
Yeah.
그래서 그 영어식 표현을 보게 되면은 이 창이 그때 열릴 것이다. 그래서 발사 시간이 현지 시간 수요일 오후 6시 24분이다라고 우리말로는 해석을 하긴 하지만 이게 이제 뭐 25분에 발사될 수도 있고 뭐
Yeah.
만약에 상황이
They have
좀
to
뭐
check
하면은
for everything because
그렇죠. 네.
it's a very expensive project.
Of course.
So you can't just launch it anytime you want.
But if there are no glitches, if everything goes as planned, then it will be launched at 6:24 p.m. Wednesday local time. For us, that's Thursday, 7:24 a.m. 자, 그리고 4명이 탑승합니다. This is a crewed mission. In the past, we used to say it was a manned mission.
Yeah.
but there's actually 3 men and 1 woman.
Yes.
So we don't want to use any gender-specific words here. It's a crewed mission. And let's have a look at this expression here. It's slated to be the first crewed moon mission in more than 50 years.
More than 50 years, right? So what is slated to be, it means that something is scheduled, planned, or expected to happen in the future. So it indicates a formal arrangement or a high probability for a specific person or thing to become, do, or experience something.
Yeah. 자, 뭐뭐 할 예정이다. It is slated to do something or be something. So slated to 원형 이렇게 하겠죠. 자, 그러면 한번 다시 읽어보겠습니다. NASA has kicked off its countdown for what is slated to be its first crewed moon mission in more than half a century, with the initial launch window from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida opening on Wednesday at 6:24 p.m. local time. Now let's move on to the next headline.
Canadian singer Celine Dion has announced her return to the stage with 10 concerts in Paris this fall, marking her first major performances since putting her career on hold in 2022 after being diagnosed with stiff person syndrome, a rare and incurable condition that affected her singing voice and ability to walk.
캐나다 가수 셀린 디온이 올가을 프랑스 파리에서 10회에 걸친 공연을 통해 무대에 복귀한다고 발표했습니다. 이번 공연은 셀린 디온이 희소 질환인 전신 근육 강직 인간 증후군 진단을 받고 그 영향으로 노래는 물론 보행에도 문제가 생겨 모든 활동을 중단했던 2022년 이후 처음으로 갖는 정식 무대입니다. Alright, so I watched the video. She's released 2 official announcement videos, one in French, one in English, and she first of all said, I want to wish myself a happy birthday, and I'm coming back with 10 concerts in Paris in September and October. Tell us more.
Yep, so she has announced her return to the stage 4 years after being diagnosed with stiff person syndrome that affected her voice and affected her ability to walk. So the singer will perform a 10-night residency at Paris La Défense Arena in September and October, marking her first full show since 2020. She said that she's feeling strong and ready to perform again following years of intensive therapy to manage this rare condition. As we mentioned, it's incurable, so she's going to have to live with it. So she's been getting therapy to work around it. And her comeback follows a brief but emotional appearance at the 2024 Paris Olympics, signaling a gradual return to the spotlight. Tickets for the highly anticipated shows will go on sale this month with strong demand expected.
Yeah. 지금 공식 웹사이트를 지금 확인하고 있거든요. paris.celineDion.com 여기 들어가서 보니까 9월 12일부터 10월 14일까지 그러니까 한 달의 기간인데요. 매주 토요일과 수요일 날 이렇게 공연이 있네요. 그래서 10회 공연입니다. From September 12th, every Saturday and Wednesday until the 14th of October. If you're in Paris, then maybe you can go to a concert. Who
If
knows?
you can get tickets.
그래요. 근데 보니까 you have to register until the 2nd of April. So you
No.
don't have a lot of time
yeah.
if you are going to register. Let's have a look at something that put her career on hold. Of course,
Yeah.
she had this disease. It put her career on hold for a few years.
Right. So if you put something on hold, it means to intentionally delay or postpone or suspend some sort of action, project, or plan to a later time. So it implies pausing progress temporarily rather than just canceling it entirely or keeping something reserved.
Yeah. Let's put this on hold. 이거 잠시 보류하자. Celine Dion had to put her singing career on hold in 2022 because she had stiff person syndrome, which was a very rare condition and an incurable condition.
Right. Incurable, it means that it's not curable. So it's a disease or injury that cannot be corrected or remedied or removed with current medical treatments. And it often progresses over time and sometimes leads to terminal life-limiting diagnoses.
그래요. incurable 그러면은 치료할 수 없다. 그래서 불치병을 incurable disease라고 보통 하거든요.
Yeah.
자, condition이라는 단어를 썼는데 이것도 비슷한 느낌이라고 보시면 돼요. We normally use the word condition with your body if it's quite serious. You won't just say, oh, I feel a little down today. I'm in bad condition. That's Konglish.
Yeah.
In English, you wouldn't say that unless you really had a
serious,
medical condition.
Yeah.
그래서 정말 어떤 질병이나 아니면은 의학적으로 이름이 있는 그런 상태일 때는 컨디션을 쓰지만 일상적으로 그냥 오늘 좀 기분이 그래 이럴 때는 잘 쓰지 않아요 영어에서.
If you say I have a condition, it means you have something serious.
그러네요.
Yeah.
그래서 뭐 어떤 특별한 증상 같은 것들이 있을 때 I have a condition 이렇게 말할 수도 있죠. 자, 그럼 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. Canadian singer Celine Dion has announced her return to the stage with 10 concerts in Paris this fall, marking her first major performances since putting her career on hold in 2022 after being diagnosed with stiff person syndrome, a rare and incurable condition that affected her singing voice and ability to walk. Let's move on to the next headline.
An American boat captain has hauled in a giant swordfish weighing roughly 217 kilograms and measuring over 2 meters long after a grueling 5-hour battle.
네, 마지막 헤드라인인데요. 미국 플로리다주에서 어선을 운영하는 한 선장이 5시간에 걸친 힘겨운 사투 끝에 길이 2m 이상, 무게는 217kg이 넘는 거대한 황새치를 낚아올려 화제입니다. 노인과 바다인가요? What's going on here? Is it the old man in the sea?
You think it's like a tuna or something,
yeah,
right?
okay, well, what happened?
Yeah, so this Florida fishing charter captain, he landed a rare 217 kilogram swordfish in the Florida Keys, marking one of the largest catches in the area in recent years. His name is Jose Rodriguez Jr., and his crew battled the fish for 5 hours before bringing it aboard during the trip with a visiting family. They say that this swordfish of this kind of size are rarely caught in this region, despite its reputation for deep sea fishing. And the massive catch drew attention from locals with much of the fish. They said that 91 kilograms of the meat was shared across the community. And Rodriguez said that the experience came down to timing and persistence, calling it a once-in-a-lifetime moment.
그래요. 실제로 해밍웨이의 The Old Man and the Sea에 나왔던 그 청새치예요. 이게 swordfish라고 영어로는 하는데 왜냐면은 이제
It looks
마치
like a
sword 이 창이 여기 앞 모습에 있는 것 같다라고 해서
sword is a long, the long knife that they used to use when they would do sword fights.
Exactly.
Yeah.
그래서 그렇게 부릅니다. Although I think in the English original or the English version of the book, the name of the fish I believe was not a swordfish. I'll get it soon. But in Korean we did say 황새치 for that one. I think
It was a whale.
I'll have to double check it. No, it wasn't a sperm whale. 아니, 그건 아니에요. 네. 자, 어쨌든 표현 보겠습니다. haul 한번 볼까요?
Yes. When you are hauling
marlin,
something.
sorry. marlin.
Oh, it's a marlin. Okay, yeah, the
marlin이었어요.
Florida marlins. Yeah.
영어에선
it's
해밍웨이는
yeah.
marlin이라고
Yeah.
이제 이름 죄송합니다.
It's-
Please.
I think it's very common in that area. Anyways, so when you haul something in, it means you're dragging or pulling or transporting something very heavy, and you're putting a lot of effort, considerable effort into it.
저 하나만 더 수정할게요. 죄송해요. 해밍웨이의 Old Man and the Sea에서는 marlin이 청새치입니다. 청새치.
Oh, okay.
우리 지금 얘기하는 swordfish는 황새치.
Okay, so they are different.
They're slightly different.
Yeah.
But they are
Of the same family?
massive. I don't know. And they look similar. That's why I got confused.
Okay.
And it also took this man a very long time to
Which
haul it.
book is the one with the whale, with the sperm whale?
Moby
There's
Dick?
Moby Dick. Yeah, I'm
Old
getting
Man,
my
Old Man and
literature
the Sea는
confused.
고래를 낚은 건 아닙니다.
Yeah.
네, 그래요. 자, 홀, 우리 보면은 무슨 하울,
Yes.
뭐 영상
Yeah,
이런 거
that
많거든요.
as a noun. So haul, hour in the
Konglish.
Yeah, in when you watch those videos, that means it's a noun. So that represents like the amount of something that you collected. So you would see it when you're talking about like shopping hauls. Yeah,
그래요. 그래서 발음이 하울이 아니라 홀.
yeah,
미국식으로
haul.
홀
Like
이렇게.
it's actually pronounced like hall when like a hallway.
HALL이랑
Yeah.
발음이 비슷해요? 네. 근데 HAUL 이렇게 씁니다. 그래서 많은 무언가를 이렇게 끌어들인다라고 해서 쇼핑 이것저것 많이 했을 때 인플루언서들이 영상으로 홀 이제 한국식으로 하면 하울 이렇게 올리는데 그 단어는 맞아요. 발음이 좀 다르다는 거. 그다음에 grueling.
Grueling. So they fought this fish for 5 hours, right? So it was a grueling effort or grueling battle. So this describes an activity that's extremely tiring, physically or mentally demanding, and requires intense effort to the point of exhaustion.
Exactly.
Can you imagine?
grueling.
Yeah.
왜냐면 5시간 동안이나 사투를 벌이는
You would have to tire it out in order to
그러니까요.
pull it on board, right?
네, 이
Yeah.
황새치를 이게 낚기 위해서 굉장히 긴 시간 고생했잖아요. 그래서 몹시 힘든 상황을 a grueling something이라고 표현할 수 있습니다. 그리고 앞서서 이제 이 swordfish에서 sword가 뭔지 그 칼 같은 거거든요.
Yeah.
근데 우리가 창과 방패.
It's a long sword.
그래서 제가 창이 아닌가요? 창인가? 검인가?
That would
검?
be a spear. Chang is a spear.
검인가요? 그러면은
Yes.
우리말로 검.
Yeah. So it's a long knife.
검 물고기. 직역을 하면 그러네요. 네, 황새치입니다. 자, 다시 읽어볼게요. That was a grueling read through the headline. 다시 한번 해볼게요. An American boat captain has hauled in a giant swordfish weighing roughly 217 kilograms and measuring over 2 meters long after a grueling 5-hour battle.
Korean exports surpassed $80 billion in March for the first time on record, setting a new monthly high as strong semiconductor shipments drove overall growth despite rising oil prices and logistics disruptions from the prolonged Middle East conflict.
중동 전쟁 장기화로 유가가 상승하고 물류 흐름이 원활하지 못한 가운데서도 우리나라 수출이 지난달에 처음으로 월간 수출액 800억 달러를 넘어섰습니다. 이번 실적을 전체적으로 견인한 것은 반도체 물량이었습니다. Tell us more.
Yeah, so both the monthly trade balance as well as exports marked their highest levels ever recorded. Over $80 billion US for the first time, and it marks the 10th consecutive month of record-breaking performance for that respective month as well. So exports right now out of Korea are doing very well, and for the most part, it's because of course, the semiconductor industry, which Korea is a world leader in.
Definitely. The semiconductor industry, 반도체 산업이 되겠죠. Or the chip industry, as it's also known. Those are interchangeable. Let's have a look at the expression despite something.
We use despite when we're talking about something that was able to happen or succeeded or something that did happen, even though there was some sort of a negative force that might have prevented that from happening. So it could be like, even though something could have gotten in the way or this thing could have gotten in the way, like they're saying the conflict in the Middle East is sort of, ruining the economy in a lot of places.
Yeah.
But even though that's happening, despite that, Korean exports are still doing well.
Exactly. Sometimes people have outdoor weddings and they hope it won't rain. And yet you can still have a great wedding despite the rain.
Exactly. So that's the rain is like this negative force that might ruin something, but you're still able to succeed at something, even though there's this negative force happening as well.
That's right.
A similar, I guess, expression that we'll use could be also in spite of
Yep.
rather than despite. So sounds similar, and it is, but it's in spite of can also be interchangeable.
You can use it interchangeably here. So
Yes.
something drove overall growth in spite of rising oil prices. Same as saying despite rising oil prices.
Exactly. Yeah.
그래요. 뭐뭐에도 불구하고. What about logistics disruptions?
Logistics, first off, is something that you'll hear a lot in business talk, especially large companies. And basically, the bigger a company is, the more difficult it is to run because you're managing so many different people and
Yeah.
moving parts and things that are required to keep the company active. If you have just one person as a freelancer, then one person is making the decisions and everything's easy. But the logistics is kind of like the difficulty of coordinating all these different things within a major company and making things able to run smoothly. So
Yeah.
especially things like delivery. If you think of like Korean's top delivery companies, then they'll have a very large logistics department
Right.
that kind of help organize the delivery of all the vehicles and delivery people that they have.
Yeah, when I hear the word logistics, I think of things or people moving around. So in this case, we're talking about goods, products being moved around.
Yeah.
But like you said, it could be people or whatever it is, coordinating all these different parts and making sure they move in the right way, in the right direction.
Yeah, and of course, in the actual article, it's talking about logistics disruptions
Yes.
because of the conflict in the Middle East. So even though there's this conflict happening, logistics should be more difficult because of different paths that are maybe cut off in that area. It could be because of financial situations. There's things that are kind of throwing a wrench into the logistics. It's disrupting the logistics that should be. But, still, despite of all of that, things are doing well when it comes to exports.
그래요. 여기서 말하는 logistics disruptions는 물류 운송이나 운반의 그 흐름이 끊겼다. 차질이 생겼다라는 의미가 되겠습니다. disruptions. 방해의 의미가 들어있기도 한데요. 탁 지장을 받게 되는 그런 상황이죠. So we're talking about the Strait of Hormuz, obviously, in this case. Logistics disruptions there because things aren't able to get through. 자, 그럼 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. Korean exports surpassed $80 billion in March for the first time on record, setting a new monthly high as strong semiconductor shipments drove overall growth despite rising oil prices and logistics disruptions from the prolonged Middle East conflict. Here's our next headline.
The National Museum of Korea became the world's third most visited museum in 2025, according to the international publication The Art Newspaper, drawing a record 6.5 million visitors and surpassing renowned institutions like the British Museum and New York's Metropolitan Museum of Art.
영국 미술 전문 매체인 아트 뉴스페이퍼에 따르면 지난해 관람객 650만 명을 돌파한 우리나라의 국립중앙박물관이 세계 박물관 관람객 수 3위에 올랐습니다. 이는 영국 박물관과 뉴욕 메트로폴리탄 미술관보다도 높은 순입니다. 와우.
Yeah, imagine that. We'd been talking before that, Korea's National Museum has been receiving record number of visitors and that it has been ranking in the top, sort. But
Yeah.
to actually have a final figure to say it's number 3 now, right behind the Vatican Museum, which is number 2. The Louvre Museum in Paris is first by a considerable margin. region. So I think they're
No
saying
surprise there.
Yeah. Obviously, one of the most famous museums in the world. 9 million visitors for the Louvre. Vatican is logged in at 6.9, and the Korean National is 6.5. So very close to perhaps being maybe second place next year. Who knows?
Yeah, it's possible. 그래요. 루브르 박물관에 이어서 바티칸 뮤지엄, 그 다음에는 바로 우리나라의 국립중앙박물관이 관람객 수가 가장 많았습니다. 작년에 아무래도 캐대헌의 영향도 좀 있었던 것 같고,
Absolutely.
K-pop, K-pop뿐만 아니라 K-culture 이런 것들이 크게 영향을 미친 것 같아요. 자, 예문 보겠습니다. 표현 보겠습니다. Draw people.
A draw, or when you draw people in, it's something that a reason for going to something. You could have maybe like an act, like would be the draw. That's the reason for people going to see something. Let's say, as an example, let's say the Louvre Museum, the main draw at the Louvre Museum is probably the Mona Lisa. There's obviously other famous artifacts and artwork that they have at the Louvre, but the Mona Lisa is the most famous thing. And if you want to see it, well, you have to go to the Louvre. So that's the main draw.
그래요. 여기서 명사로 쓰는 draw는 매력 포인트나 감상 포인트라고 보시면 돼요. 그래서 루브르 박물관의 감상 포인트는 바로 모나리자라고 얘기할 수 있겠죠. 많은 사람들이 그거 보기 위해서 가는데 그런 것처럼 이제 명사로 쓸 수도 있지만 이 헤드라인에서는 동사로 썼어요. Drawing a record 6.5 million visitors. So it's the same concept, but it's a verb here.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
그래서 이렇게 손님을 끌어모은다. 매력이 있으니까. 그래서 끌어모은다는 의미로 something draws people 이렇게 얘기하면 되겠고요. What about renowned?
Renowned is basically the same as famous. So it's well known. Something, in this case, institutions, other museums, famous museums like the British Museum or the Metropolitan Museum, renowned museums, famous museums, well-known museums.
그래요. 발음이 좀 특이하죠. It's not renowned. It's renowned.
Yes.
유명한, famous. 자, 다시 읽어보겠습니다. The National Museum of Korea became the world's third most visited museum in 2025, according to the international publication The Art Newspaper, drawing a record 6.5 million visitors and surpassing renowned institutions like the British Museum and New York's Metropolitan Museum of Art.
Fuel surcharges for flights operated by Korean carriers have more than tripled for April, driven by a surge in global oil prices and ongoing geopolitical tensions in the Middle East.
국제유가가 치솟고 중동 지역 긴장이 지속되면서 이번 달 국내 항공사 항공권에 부과되는 유류 할증료가 전달과 비교해 최대 3배 이상 인상됐습니다. Alright, so I guess traveling is way more expensive now.
It is indeed. So, as an example, Korean Air has raised its international one-way fuel surcharge to between 42,000 and 303,000 won for April, compared with 13,500 to 99,000 won in March. So it has more than tripled. And that's international one-way fuel surcharge. And I was actually just recently looking at flights to Vancouver for the summer. And I noticed looking about like a week ago. It was less than a week ago.
Okay.
So less than a week ago. And I also just checked yesterday. Flights were at least 100,000 won more expensive from just a week ago.
그럴 수 있죠.
Yeah.
예, 왜냐하면 지금 유류 할증료가 편도 기준으로 국제선 이제 대한항공 같은 경우에 42,000원에서 많게는 또 30만 원 정도까지 이 유류 할증료가 붙습니다. 근데 한 달 전까지만 해도 이게 13,000원에서 한 99,000원 정도의 범주였는데 3배 정도 올랐으니까 당연히 전체적인 비행기표 가격도 지금 말씀하신 것처럼 뭐 10만 원 이상 충분히 올랐을 수 있죠. Yeah. All right. So obviously it's going to get more expensive if you go on these long haul flights, and if it's closer, less so. But nonetheless, it's affected everything. Let's have a look at the term fuel charge or fuel surcharge 이게 바로 유류 할증료가 되겠습니다. surcharge 하면은 추가 요금인데요. 유류 할증료 fuel surcharge.
I want to say in French, I believe sur is on top, right?
sur
Yeah, sur means on top. So if you think of like a charge, well, on top of that charge,
Yeah.
It's like an extra charge.
yes, that is true. 그러네요. 자, 그다음에 이제 항공사라는 뜻의 carrier.
Carrier, literally, you can think of it as one who carries, right? So, like, it could be a person, but in this case, it is an airline because airlines carry people from one place to another. Of course, we also hear this in telecommunications, right? So, we'll hear like various telecom carriers as well, as if they're carrying information from one place to another as well. But we think of a person, or it could be a company that carries things or people from one place to another.
지금은 맥락상 항공사예요. 그런 의미로 제일 많이 쓰는 것 같기는 한데 이게 또 일반 뭐 맥락에 따라서 다른 회사도 될 수 있지만 우리가 바이러스 얘기할 때는 또 이제 그런 바이러스의 매개체, 보균자라는 의미도 가지고 있으니까 그거 참고하시면 되겠습니다. What about geopolitical tensions?
So geopolitical, we're talking about politics that are international or related to geography. Usually, conflicts between countries that are close to one another or have geography reasons to be in relationships or to have bad relationships. And in this case, when you're talking about geopolitical tension, you are indeed talking about negative political relationships. And tension, anytime we're talking about tension, we're talking about something that could go bad very quickly. And if you think of like a rope or a string, a line of some sort, if it's straight, then the line has a lot of tension. If it kind of dips down, then it doesn't have tension, right? It's loose and it has slack or leeway. But if a line is straight and is being pulled really, really hard, then it has tension and it's much easier to break because of the tension. So now if it breaks, now we have a problem, right? So that's where I'm trying to say the tension, it can lead to something worse, essentially, if it breaks.
So in your example, you're talking about the 팽팽함 when you say tension. 네. 그 팽팽함이 깨지면은 또 큰 문제가 생길 수도 있으니까요. 보통 tension 하면은 이렇게 뉴스에서는 긴장 상태를 말하고요. Geopolitical, that's geographic and political. 그래서 지정학적이 되겠죠. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Fuel surcharges for flights operated by Korean carriers have more than tripled for April, driven by a surge in global oil prices and ongoing geopolitical tensions in the Middle East. Here's our next headline.
2 Australian states have introduced free public transport through June to discourage driving amid high fuel prices driven by the Middle East conflict, while the federal government has halved the national fuel excise tax for 3 months to provide financial relief to motorists.
중동 전쟁으로 연료비가 상승하자 호주 내 2개의 주가 시민들의 자가용 이용을 줄이기 위해 대중교통 요금을 6월까지 무료화하기로 했고 호주 연방정부는 운전자들의 경제적 부담을 덜기 위해 3개월간 유류 소비세를 절반으로 인하하기로 결정했습니다. We have 3 stories out of the 5 altogether related to the effects of the Middle East conflict.
Yes.
This is another one of those.
Absolutely. And it just shows how much it is affecting the world, essentially. And indeed, Australia as well. 2 of their states, one of them being Victoria, which is home to Melbourne, is offering free travel through April and all the way until the end of June, I think it is. So
that's public transportation.
Yeah, public transportation in order for people to essentially give incentive to take public transport rather than taking their cars everywhere, which of course burns more fuel, which we're experiencing a shortage in.
The other state would be Tasmania, which is obviously an island state in the south of Australia. But these two regions, as you said, will be offering certain benefits to people using public transport because at the end of the day, the government is saying, leave your cars at home. The fuel prices are too high. 자, 그러면 한번 표현을 보도록 하겠습니다. To discourage driving.
If you're trying to discourage something, then you're essentially trying to give like negative incentive to make people not do something.
Yeah.
So normally people might do this thing and you're saying, okay, well, we want to give you a reason to not do the thing that you are doing or that you would be doing.
To discourage something은 무엇을 못하게 하다, 말리다, 막다 이런 의미가 있는데요. discourage driving이니까 운전하는 것을 좀 이제 말리는 거죠. 여러분 차는 가급적이면 집에 두시고 대중교통 이용하세요. 그래서 빅토리아 주에서는 4월 동안 대중교통 무료로 이용할 수 있고 타스메니아는 6월까지. 네.
And of course, another way that we often hear the word discourage is sort of like an emotion, the way that you feel.
Yeah.
So maybe if something bad happened, then you might feel discouraged, like you have less hope. So before you might have had hope for something, but now, oh, my hope is gone because something happened, and now I feel discouraged.
좌절감을 느낄 때 수동태로 I feel or I am discouraged 이렇게 얘기할 수도 있겠죠. So to be discouraged is the form I'm talking about here when you're talking about your feelings and you're really let down.
Yeah, and a common thing that people will say if something bad happens, then they'll say, "Oh, don't be discouraged. Like, keep your chin up or have hope."
Yeah. And the opposite would be to encourage someone.
Yes, exactly.
그래요. 그 다음에 이제 중간에 동사 halve가 나오는데요. halve. 반으로 줄이다 라는 뜻이 되겠죠. 캐나다에서 발음 어떻게 하죠, 이거? 북미권 발음으로?
Halved.
네, 이렇게. 그리고 영국식으로 하면 halved가 되겠습니다. 가운데 A가 어쨌든 양쪽 발음에서 다 좀 길어요. 그냥 half는 어떻게 발음해요?
Half.
저는 half. 그래서 요거랑 그 다음에 이제 동사가 발음이 다르다. 자, 그 다음에 excise tax.
An excise tax is a tax that the government places on items. Usually they're consumer items that people use often
Yep.
so that they can collect some money and use it for government purposes, but also just so that it might also be to discourage people from doing something. So as an example, you might have an excise tax on tobacco to discourage people from smoking. So it's, it could be taxes for, some will argue that it's because the government needs money. Some will argue that, no, it's because they don't want you to do certain things.
EXCISE, excise tax라는 것은요. 특정 품목에 부과되는 개별 소비세, 그런 소비세를 얘기합니다. 다시 읽어볼게요. 2 Australian states have introduced free public transport through June to discourage driving amid high fuel prices driven by the Middle East conflict, while the federal government has halved the national fuel excise tax for 3 months to provide financial relief to motorists. Here's our final headline.
Paintings by Renoir, Cézanne, and Matisse, worth millions of euros, have been stolen from a museum near the Italian city of Parma, marking the latest high-profile heist following the brazen daylight robbery of priceless jewels from the Louvre last October.
이탈리아 파르마 인근의 한 미술관이 르누아르와 세잔, 마티스 등 수백만 유로에 달하는 거장들의 회화 작품을 도난당했습니다. 이는 지난 10월 대낮에 루브르 박물관에서 발생한 대범한 보석 탈취 사건에 이어 벌어진 눈에 띄는 유사 절도 살해입니다. Alright, so what happened?
Yeah, so 4 masked men entered the Magnani Rocca Foundation Villa on the 22nd of March, and they made off with Les Poissons by Pierre-Auguste Renoir, Still Life with Cherries by Paul Cézanne, and Odalisque on the Terrace by Henri Matisse. And they estimate that these stolen paintings have a combined value of 9 million euro, which would be like 13.2 billion won.
와우. 그래요. 4명의 복면을 쓴 절도범이 이렇게 또 어떻게 보면은 참 대범한 그런 절도 사건을 벌였군요. high profile heist라고 표현을 하고 있는데요. heist가 여기서 말하는 그런 절도 사건일 테고 high profile? How does
High
that mean?
profile is something that is famous or that is well known, something that everyone has kind of heard about. It might be in the news,
Right.
So it's something that's been talked about as of late, but pretty much just something that everyone knows.
누구나 다 알만한이라는 뜻이에요. high profile. 반대로 low profile이라는 표현도 있죠. 그러면 좀 덜 알려진다 아니면 일부러 좀 사람들의 이목을 받지 않으려고 할 때 keep a low profile 이렇게 말할 수도 있는데요. This heist was a high profile heist because, well, first of all, it was
The Louvre Museum,
yeah,
famous museum, and it was in the daytime.
그렇죠. 자, 가장 이제 최근에 있었던 절도 사건은 이탈리아에 있었던 마냐니 로카 파운데이션 빌라에서 벌어진 사건이고요. 이 4명의 절도범이 3개의 작품을 훔쳤습니다. 우리 돈으로는 합해서 한 157억 원에 해당하는 그런 가치를 가지고 있다고 해요. Now, what about priceless jewels?
Something that is priceless. It's so expensive that no amount of money in the world could really justify the value of something. So basically, even if you have this much money, then the person with that possession would not be willing to sell it to you. So it doesn't matter how rich you are, this is something that you are not capable of buying.
그러니까 여기서 말하는 priceless는 값을 매길 수 없을 정도로 정말 가치가 있다라는 뜻이네요.
Yeah, typically it's just saying it's so expensive, or it could be just something that's not for sale. Like, you know, if the best example I'll give is once again the Mona Lisa. Like, if you were to be in possession of the Mona Lisa, it doesn't matter how much money someone were to offer the Louvre Museum. I'll give you $15 trillion. I mean, all the money to make you the richest person in the world, but they would still just say no because it's not something that you can sell. It's priceless.
그렇죠. 대단히 귀중하다라는 의미가 되겠네요. Well, they say it only took 3 minutes for these 4 robbers to take these art pieces,
Well coordinated.
but also very bad and brazen and also in daylight again.
Yeah.
자, 다시 한번 보겠습니다. Paintings by Renoir, Cézanne, and Matisse, worth millions of euros, have been stolen from a museum near the Italian city of Parma, marking the latest high-profile heist following the brazen daylight robbery of priceless jewels from the Louvre last October. All right, that's it for the headlines this morning with Jason Lee.